Shut up and sit down.
Needless to say, I had to throw those underwear.
We can't say twat more than 10 times.
Twat, 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 twat.
Go to hell.
And you get to be the dictator, you get to be a dictator, you get a dictator.
Yeah,
That
I know
fucking
you do. I know you
egg-sucking piece of shit.
No, or when you're interrupting, you bastard.
Wow.
We're gonna fight. We are gonna fight. I
It
mean,
was
if you
coming
think
to
shooting
theaters.
a cat is violence,
This is
and
my last podcast with CriticalMass. What do you think, Dan? Do we have a good time?
no.
Hello, everyone. CriticalMass here. Oh, man.
Yeah.
The mics are hot, and so am I.
Welcome back to episode 9000.
Yeah, our season 2 finale.
I guess so. Yeah.
Yeah, we're closing this season up because we're getting ready for some big changes.
Big changes in
Big
all of our
changes
lives.
in season 3.
Bit of a break.
Bit of a break for. We're gonna take about 3-week hiatus.
At least a 3-week hiatus.
We're gonna go 3-week hiatus. In the meantime, you got a lot of our episodes to listen to. We put up a lot of content.
Don't stray too far from us now,
No,
listeners.
don't you walk away from me. Look at me. But yeah, so we're excited for
News.
the next chapter.
News update. We have a website. I'm not even going to say what it is yet
'Cause it
because
sucks.
it's in its infancy and it needs updating and help, but we do have a website.
We have a website.
Yes.
It's actually the links for it are on Pornhub.
Yeah.
So check us out. Vocab.
Speaking of Pornhub, let's dive right into vocab.
Do you want to go first? Or you want me to go first?
I would like to give you my vocab.
Go
first.
ahead. I'm all ears and cocks.
I guess it's a term. It's called dry humping. What is that?
Okay, so you did dry humping already.
Did I?
Yeah, literally 2 episodes ago, you gave me dry humping. I said it was a farming technique.
Oh, fuck.
This is like you really just fuck.
He's literally turning red.
I know, it's great.
All right. Wow.
You want me to go first?
Yeah.
Okay. The vocab word is
Oh, my God. He's right. Wow.
scissoring.
Oh, that's such a good one.
Yeah.
Well,
Scissoring.
scissoring.
Definition.
The definition, do you want me to go with the Oxford Dictionary or would you prefer Merriam-Webster's?
I always prefer Merriam-Webster's. Merriam's a hot piece of ass.
Now, can I ask you something now? When did Webster's become Merriam-Webster's? I always remember the two being separate.
I think Webster and Merriam, they
bought it out.
They had a night of passion
Yeah.
and then decided to create a dictionary. Can you define scissoring, though?
Sorry, I was just, as you can tell, delaying.
Our guest is falling asleep, and we'd like to introduce him.
Scissoring is a sports term.
It's a sport. Okay, it's a sports term.
And because, I'm a real big athlete.
You're a huge athlete, and huge is
Scissoring is actually used in pre-warm-up stretching.
okay.
And it's mainly a basketball thing. This is why you ever notice how stretching and stuff is not done out on the basketball court?
Yeah, it's not.
But in the NFL, for example, which we'll talk about today,
Yeah.
you see players stretching out on the field in the stadium,
Yes.
right?
Yeah, sure.
Well, basketball scissoring is done back in the locker room
Okay.
where giant black grown men sit on one another and push their legs straight up into the air, forming a scissor shape.
That's wow. So there's going to be a lot of people that are attracted to that term.
Well, it just looks weird, and the whole homophobia thing within the NBA.
Yeah, we can't have.
So
any
they
of
don't
that.
do it out in public.
Of course, that makes sense.
But I have access to very strange locker rooms.
Also heard this is a favorite in the WNBA also.
Yes.
This type of stretching technique
It
that
could
you
be,
mentioned.
yeah. You're right.
I wonder why.
Yeah.
Dan, do you have vocab for me?
Well, obviously I fucked that up. I thought I didn't do dry humping.
No, you did dry humping.
What is a hand job?
Hand job. Yes, a hand job. I'm glad you asked.
Okay, because I've heard that recently and I don't know what it
A
is.
hand job is a job that you do, well, obviously with a hand or 2 hands sometimes.
Oh, you got to use your hand to do that job.
Exactly. What happens is someone gives you very little money,
Yeah.
and then you are to do a job for them, something that they may enjoy,
Yeah.
that has quite the finish to it.
So I was unemployed for a long time.
Yeah.
And I kept writing on my applications that I'm good at hand jobs because
Yep.
I'm good with using my hands, so
Yep.
that's what I wrote down. I'm good at hand jobs, and couldn't find any work.
That's unfortunate because
Yeah.
typically everyone likes someone that can give them a good hand job.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Well, we're just here to educate. So.
That's why we're here. We're here to educate and masturbate. So, with that being said, let's welcome our guest, Wayne. Hey, Wayne.
Good morning. How are you?
I am doing fantastic. How are you?
I am having a hand job.
That's very nice. Very nice.
Thank you.
So we have Wayne here,
Yes.
A longtime friend of mine. Well, Dan doesn't really have any friends.
Nope.
None at all. And we're here to talk about what's coming up. What's coming up? The NFL
Ah, yes, the
Yes.
NFL,
and like
Insert
athletics.
theme music.
the No Fun League.
Theme music
I think
provided
you're
by
a little
Wayne.
flat there, Wayne.
I'm sorry. I left my tuba at home.
So we're here to talk about the NFL and kind of the obsession with it. Like, what is these people? It becomes a religion. Now, I want to preface this with I feel like there's NFL fans in this room. I mean, I'm a huge NFL fan. Everyone knows I'm a Packers fan. Dan is a huge Dallas fan.
Yep.
Wayne, you.
Whoever I've got money on.
Yeah.
Whoever he's got money on that week,
Honestly, none of it really matters.
and that's why we're here.
Yeah.
So
I like watching it. You know,
Okay.
it beats NCIS reruns
No shit.
by a
Anything beats
small
NCIS.
margin.
that's true. That's true.
Nah, fuck those shows. NCIS, seriously.
Well, yeah.
NCI 2S, WCI, CSU, CSW. Who fucking knows? Who cares?
Yeah, but at least none of those people get concussions. So
That we know of.
Well, the stunt doubles.
the
do.
stunt doubles do.
Yeah.
So Wayne, how long have you been watching football? Let's say. I mean, how long would you say you've been a fan? If you're still a fan,
Would you say 60
70s.
years?
Yeah, a long time since the 70s.
okay. Like, what are your like first memories of like, I guess players, teams?
You know, the local teams. There wasn't as much coverage as there is now. So you were stuck watching the Bills, and there wasn't 16 different games. Every Thursday and Saturdays, and so it was Sundays.
Yeah.
There was a game or two, and then Monday Night Football
Okay.
with Howard Cosell.
Okay.
That kind of thing.
So where do you? So obviously the topic today is kind of the obsession with it, and obviously outside of the show you've voiced your opinions on the ridiculousness that is the deification, if you will, of these players. Where do you think like that comes from? Like, if you could just go on a rant, that'd be great.
Honestly, it's a deification of any of these things. I mean, these
Okay.
people are insane. You can't just go and enjoy one of these spectacles now. Go watch the sport, with your family and expect to have a normal experience. You have to expose your family to pretty much the lower 1% of society when you're wandering around these football fields. And you look at all the money. I mean, that's what it's about.
Yeah.
It's about the money. So I'm not a big fan of these. Just the whole. My problem is so much with the game.
Yeah.
It's covered to death now. These guys have run out of anything pertinent or intelligent to say. Period. I mean, it's all been done.
Yeah. When an athlete speaks, on camera, on mic, it's like, maybe interview him off mic first.
Well, anytime it's Eli Manning.
Yeah, that guy.
Just any of these guys.
Yeah.
They're held up to this, this shining spotlight. I'm watching this preseason game, and they're doing a little, puff piece on this Myles Garrett.
Yeah.
This, I don't know, 6'8", 300-pound monster that they drafted to play, defensive line. Well, let's just leave it at that, okay?
Yeah.
I don't really care that Myles reads books, and he likes to read books about Michael Jordan and Muhammad Ali. Awesome, Myles.
Yeah.
Myles went to college, and that's as far as his literary stretch goes.
Yeah.
Is books. I can almost
Which barely
guarantee-
counts.
Look on Amazon. 90% of the books you're going to find on Muhammad Ali and Michael Jordan, they're going to be picture books, right? Like they would be in the children's section of the
Practically
library.
pop-up book.
Yeah, exactly. Look, go, Mike, go.
Yeah.
But they've got him posed and sitting around like he's this Renaissance man. They did everything short of putting a paintbrush in this guy's hand, you know?
Yeah.
And it's like, Miles feels that when he's done with football, he's going to, reach out and he's going to write a children's book.
If he has the mental capacity.
And I just see, like, who are the authors of that Goodnight Moon? Because they're just shitting their pants right now. I mean, obviously, because Miles Garrett,
Miles Garrett is going to write a book, everybody.
He's reaching deep. Yeah. He's going to take over the children's book market. Because that takes a shit ton of brains to freaking write a kid's book.
He's going to tackle the market.
Thank you. There you go.
There you go. Wow, Dan for the
congratulations.
With the pun.
Oh,
It's just such a puff nonsense piece, and they do it with all these guys. You
Yeah.
know? This whole the feel good story about Kurt Warner.
Oh,
he
his
was
hero.
stocking shelves and playing in the Arena Bowl League, and the NFL plucked him out of near obscurity. And he worked his way to the top and won the Super Bowl. Who gives a shit? I mean, what we ought to be looking at is the fact this guy had a college degree. And he was stocking fucking shelves at a goddamn grocery store.
Fair enough, but I will defend Kurt Warner on this.
How?
Bring it. Do it. Let's go, guys. This is why we're here today.
The stocking the shelves thing, although it was true, was actually very temporary.
Sure.
He had, I believe, just been cut from, I want to say, the Packers. Yes. He was undrafted, and they asked him to be on the practice squad with the Packers.
Okay. Yeah.
He was underneath Favre and somebody else who I forget. And
It wasn't Rodgers. It was before
Malarkey,
Yeah.
and somebody else were like, you got the chops, kid, but you're not good enough yet. So they kicked him out. They said, not now, but maybe someday later. So he goes back to, and this is after he graduated college, and he goes back to stocking shelves for a little while and then moves back to his college town.
Once again,
If you can see Wayne's face right now.
He doesn't get plucked out of obscurity. He's still fucking stocking shelves, Dave. But what else is he going to be doing? He's got 3 kids already at this point, right? Maybe 4. He's married. He's 23.
Well, he's a Christian. I mean, we talked about this last time. The Christian faith says marry at a young age and pop out a bunch of kids, tell your wife to shut up, and make a little bit of money. That's the Christian way.
Well,
So that's what he was doing.
we could all strive to be more like Christ.
So first of all, a college athlete, I mean, what kind of degree are they getting anyways? So that's a stretch in and of itself. He gets his college degree, plays ball in college, does well actually,
Absolutely.
and then tries to make it in the NFL. They say you're not quite ready yet. He goes back to actually stocking shelves and bagging groceries at a local grocery store for a little while until he moves to, I think, northern Iowa again to help with the coaching staff.
All right.
So then he becomes like a coach for the team.
Well, let's imagine Kurt Warner can't throw a football, though. Kurt Warner went to college, got a degree.
Okay, I went to look, but just because you go to college does not automatically get you into a high-paying job right away.
Yeah, but you have an art degree, Dan.
I have a 4-year liberal arts degree and a bachelor's in fine arts with a concentration in photography. And go ahead and make fun of me, but I'm the fucking photographer to your wedding.
Okay, first of all, hang on.
Nobody's making fun of you.
No.
I want to preface this with this. Dan is a gifted photographer. His work is fantastic, and if you need a photographer, shameless plug, contact Dan. Now, moving forward, though, what do you do for a living?
I deliver mail.
Okay,
Exactly.
this doesn't take away from your gift as
We
being a
could get
photographer.
into an
but
entire other discussion about the pros and cons of a 4-year liberal
I
arts
understand
degree
that.
or an art degree.
you're
or
not
this or that.
You're not a shitty
And for the most
photographer. You're
part-
fantastic,
For
but
the most part, we would agree.
But you're not bagging groceries.
you're still not. Yeah, he's still not bagging groceries.
Guess what I
You're
did
still
when I
better than Kurt
graduated
Warner.
college?
Yeah.
You don't just walk into a building and go, I have a 4-year degree, give me a job.
But you tried harder.
You have to put a resume together. You have to build the relationships.
Thank you.
You
Appreciate
have to-
you letting me know that.
You don't just... Yeah, but you're acting like Kurt Warner should have just automatically got some high-paying falutin job right out of nowhere.
No, I'm saying he probably should have stretched himself a little and not been bagging groceries and throwing footballs around.
But even stretched himself a little.
Well, if you got a family to support, you try and do anything you can. But this guy was literally made no contacts, okay, while he was playing football. Was it Boise State?
No, it was Northern Iowa.
Northern Iowa, something
Yeah.
like that. Some Iowa, Idaho, whatever.
Yeah.
But, part of the thing with these college players is that they're put in a touch and they network so much. They're around all these guys with big businesses that are donors to programs, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
And the best he could finagle for himself was a job bagging groceries. It doesn't show a lot of motivation to me.
Well, first of all, I think you're taking things out of context. It was 1993 for crying out loud. Things are much different now than they were back then.
But still.
And second of all, Northern Iowa is a very obscure school.
Yeah.
It's insane.
I was just getting out of the U.S. military.
You couldn't even name the league that it's in.
But
It's
right.
name the conference it's in.
Dan.
The MAC, isn't it?
No, it's not.
The mountain or something like that.
No, it's not even that. It's some really, really obscure
Crazy,
fucking thing.
But still, okay, so Dan, okay, I'm not 100% on board with everything Wayne is saying. However, I can fully understand where he's coming from in terms of this, the dude, regardless, okay, he had more opportunity to make those connections in college football. I never got to that level where I can make connections. I'm not saying he's 100% right, but at the same time, Jesus Christ, he's got a point. Why didn't he fucking make any other connections? Why didn't he do anything else? You got a family to support, you're fucking bagging groceries. Yeah. You come from a college background in terms of college sports. You couldn't network and maybe get on a coaching squad or get on...
That's literally what he did.
What do you mean?
He went to become part of the coaching squad at Northern Iowa.
Yeah, and
from there, he went into the Arena Football League.
I guess I think the point we're trying to make is, I think the point Wayne's trying to make, and correct me if I'm wrong, Wayne, is that he is hailed as some kind of mystical, magical hero within the NFL. And does all of his actions warrant that exalted Kurt Warner from the Cinderella story, from bagging groceries to going to the Super Bowl? I think that's Wayne's
I think
point.
you're misconstruing the fanfare.
Okay.
First of all, I think you have to put all the elements together and look at it. He was bagging groceries. That's, considered the lowest of the low for someone who was a Super Bowl.
I'd consider it a promotion at this time.
Right.
Yeah,
for you.
For me, too.
But for most, if not all, professional football winning quarterbacks,
I was a winning.
that's not the path that they take. So that's why it made it such an interesting story.
Yeah.
Now, you and I, if we started bagging groceries or doing our shitty jobs every day, and then all of a sudden became a Super Bowl winning quarterback,
Listen,
you better believe that there would be fanfare around it.
Don't you dare say you have a shitty job. You have a union, so up until you molest someone on your route, you're perfectly fine.
Did you just say
no,
up
no,
until?
No.
As if
No,
it's a
I do that every
foregone
day.
conclusion. Jesus.
No, I do it every
That's
day.
not even nice, man. Up until you stab somebody in the throat.
The union will protect you.
Yes.
Dan, I wouldn't let him do that to you.
Anyways, back to my point. That's why it was such a. That's why first of all, the media is always going to jump on a story that they can talk about that's different than the everyday, right?
That's my point. I'm not impressed.
And that's a fair point to make, that, okay, maybe the media stretches too much to find these stories that are like, maybe they glorify things too much, right? But you can't you can't call Kurt Warner a douchebag or a bad guy or an idiot or a loser or not that great just because he was bagging groceries, made it into the Arena League, went to Europe, crushed it in Europe, and then came back to the States.
I don't think it's a douchebag. I'm not impressed. And I don't like the fact that this guy is...
You're not impressed with Kurt Warner?
Not at all. Not even a little bit. I'm not impressed with any of these shit.
He holds records, man.
Yeah. I can hold my balls, too, but
Well, if we're going to have a discussion about football...
It's a sport. I don't look at these guys like they're doing something amazing, They're doing something that's just greater than life.
Contextual. Within the context of the sport, it's amazing. Within the context of human beings in the world, I agree. Yeah. Not amazing.
No.
Doesn't make him an awesome person, but it makes him an awesome athlete.
Look at that roster of the Dallas Cowboys.
We're forced to believe. Children are taught to believe that these are good human beings.
That's true, Dan. That's true.
Yeah, but I think that starts at home. That starts at saying, look, Billy, the kid.
Jesus Christ.
The cameras are on these guys, but it doesn't make them good people.
I'm talking about grown adults.
Yeah, well, grown adults are on their own, in my opinion.
Yeah.
You know, take a look at Floyd Money Mayweather
Oh, let's talk about that fight.
and his ability to beat up on his girlfriend or wife or whoever it was at the time.
4 times.
And then
4 times.
4 times. And then
times.
when Ray Rice got in trouble and that video surfaced of him knocking the shit out of his wife and then dragging her out of an elevator, Mayweather, who had been quiet about his own personal issues, okay, the media hadn't jumped on him.
Not yet. And
then he said out loud, they should leave Ray Rice alone. It wasn't that bad.
Right.
It's an unfortunate fact in our society that simply if you have talent, you get a free pass on things. Like your character is okay, well, that's fine. You're a douchebag, but because you're good at something, we're going to let it go. And I just think, well, fuck, if Hitler had just been a better artist, I mean, we could be having, like
This
Hitler
podcast
art,
would be in German.
Hitler art shows.
No,
and we could be
the-
selling Hitler paintings.
The world would be a better place. There wouldn't have been a World War II. Well, there would have been a World War II at some point, but maybe not one that was led by him.
Yeah.
That's what he's saying.
I mean, millions of people. No, what I'm saying is that let's say he was also very talented and his artwork still existed.
Oh, this is an
to where-
original Hitler?
yes.
Well, they do.
Where
They
people
have-
could buy and sell it.
It's crazy stuff.
You know what I
They
mean?
still have
Yeah.
his... Well, there was that Sunny episode, but that's fiction. But,
Right.
like, what's, like...
We'll take a look at like
There
Michael
are
Jackson.
paintings out there that he did.
A lot of people like to separate Jackson. I mean, yes, in a court of law, he was found to be innocent. Okay. But anybody that's worked with children and had trainings on sexual abuse, there's no doubt in their minds that he diddled kids. There's no doubt.
I think he's innocent.
Sure.
You do?
I still
So
think
you would
Michael
let your
Jackson-
daughter sleep in his fucking
God
bed?
damn, no. The
Absolutely not. you
Let
wouldn't.
me... Hang on. All right? First of all, it's the parents' fault. I don't care if Michael Jackson came to my door and he made Thriller. Okay, he made Thriller. Okay? But he came to my door and was like, I want to hang out with your kids tonight. No.
Why wouldn't you?
Because he's crazy. Because he's a fucking crazy person. He thinks he still has the mind of a child and he's nuts. He's, like dancing around doing weird shit. He's got an amusement park with giraffes in his fucking backyard. No, goddamn no. No,
He'd move
absolutely
on.
not.
Because
He'd
he's a
move on.
sexual fucking predator.
You'd say no, and he'd move on.
Well, yeah.
He'd go to the next person.
He'd go to the
'Cause
next
I'm
house.
telling you right now, if they started a concert tour
Yeah.
with just his 3D hologram, it would sell out.
Yeah.
It'd
Yeah, it
sell
would.
out 60 dates worldwide.
It
Yeah.
would.
There's no doubt.
I'd buy tickets.
Yeah.
You're right. But my point is that why do we allow him that glorification?
I don't-
knowing,
I don't. I take it away from him.
Thank you.
Well, yeah, but
Whenever
I don't
I'm
think
at-
he did it.
whenever I'm at
I
the
still don't
station-
think Jackson. I think OJ did it.
Whenever I'm at the station, okay, and someone's playing music and a
Yeah.
Michael Jackson song comes on,
Yeah.
I just say to the guy next to me, "Oh, you know he wrote this song about a 3-year-old."
Oh God, you're such an asshole.
Because he probably fucking did.
But I don't think
He might have.
I don't think he molested those kids
Why?
because I think he's crazy. I think he's genuinely, certifiably, straitjacket worthy nuts. I think the dude should
Yeah,
have been.
and so are fucking child molesters.
Yeah,
they're
not-
calculated and they're crazy in a different way. I think Michael Jackson, based on the abuse that he endured growing up, I'm not telling you he's a great guy. I'm not
Excuse
over
me,
here.
my heart's weeping over here.
I'm not sitting here saying that he's some kind of great guy or a role model for anyone. Relax for a second. I'm saying
no
I
Kurt
get your
Warner.
fucking point. You
he's
just
no
think he's
Kurt Warner.
crazy.
He's not Kurt Warner.
I
that's for
understand
sure.
your convoluted point. You think he's
My
crazy.
convoluted point.
My point is, you have to be fucking crazy yourself not to look at that man and say, "Oh no, he didn't touch any kids."
I look at a lot of people at my job every day and say, that dude looks like he touches kids, but I guarantee he doesn't.
That's not Michael Jackson though.
I'm just saying.
You don't know. Like, look at all the overwhelming evidence.
They could describe his penis. I could describe your penis right now. Guaranteed. Head, balls,
That's
shaft,
because
probably
you've
about
seen
3
it.
inches.
Could we
You've
do a whole other
seen my
segment
penis.
just on that?
Can we do a whole other segment on Dan's penis?
That's
But
the point.
I think Dan's point is that you've seen his penis. That's why you can
That's
describe
why you
it.
can describe it. That's why those kids. They could. No.
Okay,
They
listen.
could
There's a
describe-
problem when a child can describe anybody's penis that isn't their own.
They could
anyone
listen.
can describe any penis. They all look the same. Just mine's longer than the others.
They could
and
describe.
thicker.
Okay, you make a point of that every single time. Seriously, they could describe moles in his bathing suit area. Okay, that means they've seen his fucking crotch, they can describe the moles in and around his crotch.
I still think that the parents should have never ever allowed their children
I'm not
alone
dismissing what the parents did.
disputing that.
with a
Nobody's
crazy
disputing that.
person.
No one is saying that the parents aren't also at
I
fault.
firmly believe that he put those kids in a dangerous, precarious situation. However, I don't think there was a sexual aspect to it. I think he was just crazy.
On a lighter note, though, Charles Manson is opening a daycare at prison now as part of his parole agreement.
He has to open a daycare.
Yes,
What
he's opening a
community
daycare. There's a waiting list, by the way.
Yeah, for the alt-right. Just to send their kids.
But for the sake of argument,
You said that Trump kid.
but for the sake of argument, let's all assume that most of the country assumes that Michael Jackson did diddle kids,
Yes,
right?
sure.
But here we are still celebrating his music.
Yeah, he wrote
So there's
Thriller.
this connection between, okay, he's talented, so therefore I'm going to mentally separate, or emotionally at least, his bad deeds with his talent.
Well, then, okay, with your point, everyone, I'm going to open this up. This might hurt some feelings. What's going on with Kaepernick? Talking about actions and deeds and jobs in the NFL.
Who gives a shit? I mean,
Okay,
honestly,
explore that.
This whole thing. You know, now you got these guys standing on the sideline with the white guy, his hand on the black guy's shoulder that's not standing for the anthem.
Yeah.
It's a whole big hullabaloo about nothing, you know?
Well, I think
It's truly about nothing.
what we're saying here is that if Kaepernick began to kneel during the anthem in protest of little kids not getting enough leukemia treatment, we would not be having this discussion.
Right.
We'd all be going, yay, good for him. We
Yeah.
do need to give kids more leukemia treatment.
We need
The
to get him
reason
out of
why-
that job bagging groceries and
Right.
let him play quarterback.
The reason why
He's gonna go to
this
court
country is
order
having
school.
such a hard time with it is not because he's kneeling during the national anthem. It's why he is kneeling during the national
Absolutely.
anthem.
Because-
And there is this belief that it's an equal country and everybody's equal, and therefore there is no problems whether you're black, brown, or white.
Well, this is the thing. I go back to our episode where we solved racism with our friend Django.
Yeah.
We solved it, so there's no more racism. However, Kaepernick still thinks there is racism,
Yeah,
even though
I
he listened to
emailed
our
him.
he listened to our episode where we solved it. So I don't understand where his problem is. But the fact of the matter is this: cops are killing black people
and white people.
and really.
But black people disproportionately.
Yes.
In fact,
Yes.
Madison, Wisconsin is known to be the most racist place in the country based on the judicial system because they are constantly being put in jail for first offense crimes,
What we need to
whereas
do-
white kids are being let go with a slap on the wrist.
Absolutely.
We need to put that episode of ours on a USB flash drive and send it over to Madison so they can understand
we
that
do.
we solved it already. We
Yeah.
solved it.
Marijuana is a level 1 drug. Okay,
That's-
we all know that it's a prevalent issue in the black community, right?
What is
Marijuana?
an issue? That's not an issue.
Well,
Marijuana
okay.
is never an issue. Cocaine is an issue. Heroin is an issue.
Right. I stand corrected. But it's a part of their culture, right? So
Part
that
of my-
if they get caught with it, they're going straight to jail.
Well, yeah, because they're black.
Right.
Yeah.
Like I said before, they can't even.
Well,
that's why they don't speed, because if they
that was-
speed, they get pulled over and get shot.
Yes, that was what was that we were talking about that we were
Do they
really
all get shot?
all of them. I go
were-
to work, I see them all get shot.
Just people being lined up and shot? Is that what's happening here?
we were really, really wasted, Wayne, at your place, which is obvious. And you brought up a point about the drug wars and voting and Black America.
Yeah.
What was that you were talking about?
The more African Americans that they can incarcerate or just
Right.
get off the voting rolls
Right.
by giving them felony records,
Right.
the less chance that community will have to have a say
But
in their
political
society.
say. You're right.
And that's what's happened. It's a systematic thing, and that's why you see the hesitancy to legalize drugs.
Right.
You know, in
Voter
a
fraud
free,
as well.
in a free country. I mean, in the 20s and 30s and 40s, you could buy cocaine at a pharmacy. They used it for numbing. It came in little tins. And They used it for numbing your teeth. And society did not crumble because of cocaine. And if people wanted to abuse it, they could go right ahead. But, you know, they slowly found a way to change to stack the deck for white America
they
to
have
stay
the
in power.
actual
Yeah.
Nixon tapes of him saying we've got to flood the ghetto
Yeah.
with these drugs. He
Yeah.
literally said it on tape. And people are going, nope, Black America's fine. They have all the same opportunities as you and I do. Bullshit they do. Bull fucking shit. And the problem is that we, just like South Park said, we will never know what it's like to be them.
No.
And they will never know what it's like to be us. We just won't know what one another's going through, no matter how much we even try. So to sit there and say that Kaepernick is wrong is ridiculous because we don't know what he's actually going through. We don't know what he's seen and what his
I have to
family is
disagree
going
with
through.
you. I was oppressed for a long time. I was married for 23 years. So I know oppression that Colin Kaepernick will never. He will never experience.
He might.
He could be as black
know,
as
is
a
he
Hershey
married?
bar, and he will never experience that type of oppression.
Yeah. Well, he's not
No,
married
you're right
yet.
though. It's if you're not walking those shoes and walking that mile, then
Yeah, you just don't know what it's like.
Yeah.
And all he's doing, he's kneeling. He was sitting, and then he compromised.
Good for him.
And he said, "Okay, fine, I'll go out onto the field with you, and I'll kneel instead of stand." It was a compromise.
Yeah.
It's a peaceful protest
Yeah.
during a fucking song. Can we talk about this song? I think it's fucking weird and
Why are they playing
fascist
it?
like that we have to fucking
Yeah.
stand at attention with
At a
our
sporting event.
Yeah, not
Well,
even
anywhere.
not like
It's not a military parade. It's
or
a
a
sporting
funeral.
event.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, that's a good point.
Does anyone else have maybe I stand alone in this, but I just think it's a little weird that we even force kids in school to say the Pledge of Allegiance. It's fucking weird.
Yeah, if you want to play the Pledge
It
of
is. It's odd.
I
agree with you.
Yeah.
I pledge of allegiance to the flag. I will not I will.
It's a
Since-
nationalistic,
Yeah,
it's
march,
fucking
and it's not what this
weird.
country's supposed to be about.
Right.
Exactly, yeah.
It's like, okay, if he was pissing on
I
the
like
flag,
this.
burning it, let's say he burned a military uniform.
Fine. I got
Then
no
you can
problem
be
with that
upset.
either.
Yeah. And Wayne
I don't have a problem with that
served.
either. I had a long discussion. My daughter, okay,
Yeah.
she dates African American men. Her boyfriend now. She's been going with him for 2 years, and she
Okay.
gets all up in arms about these things. These things in Charlottesville.
Yeah.
Oh, these people should be arrested. And I said, why?
Which people
This
though?
this is America.
Which people though?
Yeah. Well, I'm not saying that Nazis are good. Neo-Nazis,
Right.
in my opinion, are very bad people.
Yeah.
But if you truly want to say that you're American and that you believe in what this country stands for, then you also have to say they have the right,
Of course.
to demonstrate peacefully.
Yeah. It's
Okay.
it's tough because it's
It's tough to
we
swallow.
try to eradicate.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very tough because I
But
want
you
to see
can't-
their skulls get split.
You can't eradicate an
Honestly.
idea.
No.
You know what I mean? So let's say you say, okay, all Nazis get out of the country. Well, guess what? They're going to be here. They're just going to be secretive.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're still going to be in your law enforcement. They're still going to be the judges on the panels. They're still going to be
Your
everywhere
president.
you turn. Right. But they're just not going to. Right. They're just
So
not going to
true.
wear it on their shoulder.
Exactly. Subversive ideas.
Right.
Well, there will always be a culture that will
We
support
might as
a
well give
subversive
them an
idea.
environment
Yeah.
where they feel comfortable to say it out loud, to walk down the street with
Fine.
tiki torches with no masks so that we can identify them. Hey, oh, I thought you were a Nazi. I could tell. What's
rascal.
funny about the defense from the right, the alt-right, and saying, hey, we're not Nazis. We just kind of believe that,
Yeah.
White
things
nationalists.
Things are fine.
Yeah, get it right, Dan.
Right.
White nationalists.
Well, here's the thing. If you're on the alt-right, but you are also saying, we're not all Nazis, well, when you were in Charlottesville marching hand in hand with Nazis, you probably should have said, I don't want to be associated with these people.
Yeah.
Let me not march
Well,
with them.
I heard this on the radio, and I'm taking it from the radio here. They made a great point, and it was this: let's say we went to a party, the three of us. Okay,
The worst party ever.
a friend.
That's a horrible part.
Right. Well,
Obviously.
it's about.
I'm already freaking falling asleep.
There's already one person
So
there. We show up.
the three of us get invited to a party, and we're like, we're gonna go to this party. We're gonna hang out, and they're like, oh, it's free booze and free food, and we're like, yeah, let's go, let's check it out. We go to the party,
Yeah.
and when we get through the door, okay, first of all, we notice everyone there is white and blonde, and the next thing we happen to notice is all the Nazi regalia hanging up
Yeah.
at the party.
Pretty obvious. We should have seen that right away.
Now the question then becomes, do we stay or do we just go, hey guys, thanks a lot for the invite. Dan has IBS and I've got a wipe for him. And Wayne actually he might be gay and he feels like he doesn't belong here. So we need to leave. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Baby.
Dan, I think what he's referring to is there was a little bit of a decoration mishap last night when I had him over for the fight. Okay? And
That was
there
the
was a
Tibetan
couple
symbol
there
for
was a
peace.
couple of flags and swastikas, and I did answer the door wearing my SS outfit.
He
Right.
did.
But it was a mistake. I told Party City that I wanted to have a fight night. They thought I said a white night, and they sent over all this garbage. It's disgusting and heinous. But I think that's
No.
just trying to take a shot at me.
I thought they brought you over to the Trump section of the Party City
exactly.
Warehouse.
That's what it was. But no, do you see what I'm saying though? For those people that are like, oh well, I was marching with the Nazis, but I'm not a Nazi. It's the same idea. You go to the party, you see this stuff going on.
You leave.
Thank you.
And that brings me to my point. You don't get up in the Nazis' face and start screaming. Guess what? You have your ideas, they have their ideas, but if you want to lend credence or get them attention, start a fight with them.
Yeah.
Start some violence, incite some riots.
Because they already
Or-
think that you're a
you're not going to
violent
change
species.
their mind.
No, you're not.
And you know who made that abundantly
Oh, I
clear
love
was
this.
Charles Barkley. He's like, what he said about that whole thing that happened in Charlottesville. He's just like, I'm going to try and make my community better.
Right.
And because I'm, African American, it's going to start there. And hopefully I'll put more good out into the world.
Right.
And that'll be a good thing. He goes, but I don't really think that standing in somebody's face or shouting at some neo-Nazi is going to change the world.
No.
And he's absolutely right, because it's not.
Right. He's definitely right. More people need to listen to him.
Yeah.
We need to get him on the fucking show.
They need to put him in charge of everything.
Exactly. Well, you see,
There will be 6 fast food restaurants every square mile.
I know,
Oh,
dude.
wait. That's already happened. They call it New Jersey.
all right. On that note, we're gonna take a short break. Take a listen to our sponsors, or fast forward. I mean, really, I don't give a
Don't
fuck.
you fucking hit fast forward.
Just listen to our sponsors, and you know what you do? Give them money. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye. Critical Mass can now be found at the 8o'clockstop.com. That's the 8o'clockstop.com. We're there with the Hypothetically Speaking podcast, as well as 3 Dicks Picks podcast. Check us out there. That's the 8o'clockstop.com, because everything starts at 8 o'clock.
All right, guys. Thanks for listening to our ass pill ads.
Yes, our ads for suppositories for boner medication.
Yes, thanks for sticking around.
Yep.
So we have Wayne here with us, and
Wayne.
Wayne's just an average Joe kind of guy.
No,
He's been around the block. He's had sex with a lot of men and women, and he knows things.
No, I have not.
Okay.
Not,
I have not had sex with men.
not yet.
Well, not
The
not
afternoon
technically.
is young.
Not technically.
right.
I don't know.
And
what that means.
we kind of got off on a really weird tangent there, but I'd like to just sort of refocus and bring us back down to earth.
Go for it, Dan. Please.
I think we talked about
we
a lot.
could let Wayne talk more, Dan.
A lot of lack of character within the athlete or star, musician, whatever, versus their actual abilities. And so if we want to
Yeah.
talk about how we deify these players in the NFL,
Celebrities in the whole, I think.
yeah, I agree. And my question is, where do we, if we can, separate what goes on behind the scenes in their personal life and what happens on the field? Therefore, is it okay, let's say, if an athlete comes out and we find out that they are like cheating on their wife and or just a bad character in general, something that we wouldn't deem okay, but they're also very talented. Do we let that go? Do we not? Do we punish them within the league? What do we do? Is it okay?
I say we just punish them, period, because they've been given enough already.
Fair enough.
I mean, yeah. I mean, so you get a multi-million-dollar contract to play for the Dallas Cowboys.
Okay.
Okay. It's like the people in this room, the 3 of us, I mean, the likelihood of that happening is slim to none.
I could still get that weight bench in my basement, and I could get into shape. Don't judge me.
Okay.
I see the eye of the tiger just burning inside of you.
That's not
Eye of
the eye of the house cat. Anyways,
Dan owns like 12 cats.
the number keeps going up in his head. It's
15 cats.
it's 4
Dan has 12,000 cats.
and a dog
And a dog.
and a wife.
And a wife.
Wow.
I have to clean up after all of them.
Yeah, he does. He does.
Rocness, you were saying something about you said let's take the Dallas Cowboys in a multi-million-dollar
Yeah,
trade.
multi-million-dollar contract, and something that the three of us in this room probably will never have is a chance to take a talent of ours, something that we have dreamed of, strived for, pushed ourselves for.
Yeah.
For me, for instance, it's the masturbation record in a single day. And these are things that we have tried to push for that we will never see a dime for. We will never be able to live out these things for money.
So you're saying you're jealous. There's some jealousy there?
What I'm saying is you take this guy who's given this chance to do something he loves.
Yeah.
He loves, and make millions and support a family and support himself and support his entire family's friends even with all the money he's making.
We get it. There's a lot on the line.
And then he goes and beats his girlfriend up publicly. Do you see? I think to Wayne's point.
Why are we surprised by this?
Please go into that. What do you mean?
Why are we surprised when these guys break the law or get into a fight or beat their wives?
Right.
Why is this a shock to anybody? You just said you're going for the masturbation record.
Yep.
That's like me walking into your bedroom and finding a crusty towel on the floor, knowing that full well that you're a professional masturbation artist, and being shocked by the fact that there's a jizz towel in your bedroom.
Yeah.
The fact that more of these guys aren't locked up for beating the shit out of their wives is amazing to me. Or just generally beating the shit out of anybody, because most of them are just one step away from being felons to begin with.
Yeah.
I mean, most of them are not good human beings.
Fair enough. I think a lot of them come from poor neighborhoods. They grew up in squalor, and they saw football as their only way out.
But do you think football is such a violent sport that it lends to that? That's an argument.
Look, I don't
That's
think
an argument.
Look, I don't think that it helps, but I also don't think
can't.
it's necessarily fair to blame the sport of football on somebody hitting their wife.
I'm not. I'm just saying football, boxing,
They're
football.
they're raised to hurt people.
Well, they're raised to not deal with the problem in a healthy way. So they move back to their animalistic instinct, which is just to lash out.
Okay.
I mean, let me ask you: were you raised by a mother who was a crack addict?
No.
Okay. So we don't know what it's like for Des Bryant to grow up in a crack house, literally a crack house, with violence and drugs all over the place. And when he gets into a shoving match with his crack addict mother,
It's not shocking to me, like I said.
right, it's not shocking.
Okay, yeah.
And I also think that you have to take things into context. Like, well, this is a person who didn't really know how to deal with his emotions and know how to act properly, even though one person probably said at a fucking community church, hey, you shouldn't do that. Oh, great, now he's a better person because he fucking heard it once.
Conversely, I don't look at Des Bryant and say, oh, I want him to babysit my children. I wouldn't let Des Bryant walk my ex-wife's new boyfriend with a fucking leash around and
Fair enough, but that also doesn't mean that he shouldn't play
He's a
the
great
game
guy.
of football.
Go ahead, play the game of football.
Right.
But don't tell me what a great guy Des Bryant is, because Des Bryant's not a good guy.
I don't think he's a bad guy.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You have a very loose definition to me of good and evil.
Well, I might be getting defensive because I'm a Cowboys fan, but let's say we were talking about let's say we're talking about two of the Green Bay Packers that are being suspended.
Okay.
But I would
talk about that.
What I'm saying is you can't look at them and say that they're bad people either, because you don't actually know them on an intimate level.
No, I don't need to, because he was raised by a crack addict, so he's a bad person.
Sounds like you're being sarcastic.
I am.
Right.
I am. But I mean, you can make excuses for anybody's upbringing,
Yeah.
I don't want to make complete excuses. I'm not saying, oh, he's fine. Don't point a finger at him, say he's a bad guy.
And I've got no problems with him being a bad guy. There's good and bad people in the world, but stop trying to shine these guys up and tell me that they are role models and that they are good people. Because for the most part, they are not.
No, I think we're talking about two different things.
Yeah,
we're talking about
the
how
same
people
thing.
might want to bash him or suspend him or kick him out of the league. It's like, wait, you don't know the full story. You don't know what really happened.
I'm not shocked by any of it. And I'd say keep letting them play.
I agree with you. That's what I'm saying. So I don't like it. Like, yes, at the same time we glorify them, but at the same time we throw in shade at them, if you will, for also ridiculous reasons.
We could even switch it to Clay Matthews. I can almost guarantee you Clay Matthews is probably not a very nice guy, despite his upbringing. Despite he might have had a perfectly normal upbringing.
Yeah.
Well, he's
actually,
a dirty hippie.
He had
look at
really
his hair.
He's a centaur.
Yeah.
Clay Matthews is a centaur. You heard it here first.
Every advantage in life, I'm sure. And he's the other end of the spectrum.
Yeah.
But I also think that these guys with their millions of dollars are also role models to kids, whether they like it or not, or whether they mean to be or not. Because a 10-year-old kid is going to look at a football player, no matter what the media says and no matter what the parents say, they're going to see that football player as a fucking god.
And I don't have a problem with a 10-year-old kid doing that.
Right.
I don't have a problem with a 14-year-old kid doing that. What I have a problem with is a 45-year-old man
right.
or a 25-year-old college graduate
right.
that looks at these people and paints their face up and goes running around. It's your right. Go right ahead. Have a lot of fun with it. But I just don't find it to be the most intelligent group of people I've ever met in my life.
Yeah.
That's fair. I mean, I don't know.
It's a diversion.
Well, my point is that if there's a giant swell of 8 to 14-year-old kids in this country looking at the NFL,
sure,
and these players as role models, I think it's important for us to say, okay, yes, what these people do in their personal lives shouldn't necessarily affect what we do to them on the field. But at the same time, I think we should also be making it known that we don't condone it either.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, yes.
Well,
suspend the person if, in fact, we know for a fact that they've done something wrong.
Okay.
I don't even know about that.
But, like, okay, so...
It's the nature of the beast.
It is. And speaking of the beast, and I want to hear from both of you. Okay, so let's take Marshawn Lynch.
Yeah.
Marshawn Lynch, okay? Buffalo Bills, Seattle Seahawks.
Extremely talented running back.
Oakland Raiders, okay? Now, you know, okay, he's from Oakland.
Yep.
Okay.
18 children out of wedlock.
Yep, 18 children
Oh,
out of
wait.
wedlock.
23 children out of wedlock.
Since we started the podcast.
Yeah, I forgot. It's
Yeah.
afternoon on a Sunday, so he's already had 5 more children.
So, but let's do this, okay? So this is true. These are true stories.
True stories I made up.
Marshawn Lynch on Thanksgiving in Oakland every single year takes his money that he makes playing football.
Yep.
And he buys a turkey for every fucking destitute family in his old neighborhood of Oakland, and he hands out these turkeys to make sure that these families and these kids have a Thanksgiving meal. Number one. Number two, there's a true story. He's in a school, visiting a school, and he was speaking to the school, and after the fact, he got to meet with the kids, and he was signing autographs, and this kid looked at him and said, those sneakers are so cool, to Marshawn Lynch. And he said, what's your size? Turned out this behemoth of a child had this, like, the same shoe size as Marshawn Lynch.
Yeah.
Marshawn Lynch literally took his fucking sneakers off and gave them to this kid and said, these are yours now. And Marshawn, the story was that he was barefoot like the rest of the fucking day at this school. Yeah. He is so active in his community. He gives a lot of his money to these charities and these causes in this community. And these are on record. These aren't things that are made up. These aren't things that are like, whatever. However, then you look at him in the press conferences where he got in trouble for not talking in the press conferences, and now he says 2 words on purpose.
That in and of itself is bullshit.
Go ahead.
If that guy doesn't want to talk, then he doesn't want to talk. I've got a huge issue with that.
Yeah. Okay, I like where you're going with this. Continue, please.
They force these guys out in front of a camera. And trust me, this league is one step away from installing fucking airbags on the top of these guys' helmets because a shocking development has occurred. Did you know that repeated blows to the head can cause brain damage?
I did not know that.
No. Apparently the NFL's just figuring that out.
Wow.
That this could be dangerous. And you know what? I think hockey might follow.
Holy shit. Do they hit each other in hockey?
Yeah, go figure, right?
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
But they've made their nut. The NFL is not going anywhere anytime soon.
No, not at all.
For sure.
And everybody made fun of Mark Kelso, remember? He had the double shell. He used to play for the Bills.
Yeah.
This is before you guys were born. He used to play.
Kelso, that sounds
I know who you're
familiar.
talking about.
He played on the Super Bowl teams. He was a safety, and he had kind of, it looked like a shell over the top of his helmet.
Yeah.
And they all used to make fun of him. But that guy actually
But he can
does.
still walk and remember.
He does
his name.
commentary now, and he actually can string together sentences.
He can tie his own
Yeah.
shoes.
Well, good for him.
Yeah.
But okay, so going back though to Marshawn Lynch.
Okay, but your employer asks you. They say if you want to work for me, you will speak at press conferences,
Yeah,
and you
fuck you.
sign
I
that
quit.
fucking contract.
Well, yeah. We know
Okay,
what
so
Wayne's answer is.
So the NFL, as the employer, has every right to say, "Hey, you work for us. You'll play by our rules. You get paid millions of dollars. You can string a few sentences together and talk to the media." But at the same time, if that person says, "I don't really want to do this," then go about changing the rules in some way. But still,
Why is it so important that we hear what Marshawn Lynch has to say?
I'm not saying it is or it isn't, but the employer says this is what you do.
You know why it's important? So the NFL can package. So they can put a spin on it. They can shine it up and say, hey, look, here's one of our guys.
Right.
That's why you got to hear from these guys at these press conferences, even if they don't want to talk.
Of course. I'm not saying it's right. I'm saying the rule is the rule, and if you don't like it, change the rule.
don't
Don't simply
change that
break
rule.
it.
Okay, but what?
They're shaking that moneymaker, you know?
Well, they are. But, like, okay, so going back to my point, though, then you get a Ray Rice who hit his girlfriend in an elevator that we saw.
Yeah.
You get, you know, all these different players with all this shit that they've fucked up.
Fiance, I think.
And then
at the
you've
time.
got, and then you've got Marshawn Lynch with these stories, and he does, this is every year that he does this for his community. He gives,
What did he do in Buffalo that he got kicked out of Buffalo? Was it drugs?
was he kicked out of Buffalo?
Basically, yeah. He got arrested in Buffalo, I thought.
Yeah, something to do with pot, I think. He got caught with possession or something.
See, that's
yeah.
such bullshit.
I
But,
don't know. I'm not positive.
but the fact of the
It
matter,
happens so often. I mean,
I thought it was
Yeah.
something minuscule compared to like.
But what I'm saying
stupid.
is,
Yeah.
do we? Okay, so it goes back to celebrities and the deification.
Right.
Okay, so Johnny Depp, just going to another celebrity,
Okay.
has been in, you know, his, from what I've seen and read, he kind of likes to smack around any women that he's been with. Or
I haven't heard that, but I can't
To
say that's
be a
wrong.
little, maybe not smack them around, but be a little, you know, a little too, you know. But he dresses up in full Pirates of the Caribbean regalia, goes to children's hospitals for terminally ill kids, stays in character for 9 to 10 hours, makeup, costume, character, just to give these fucking kids a smile. You look at Marshawn Lynch, who does the charity stuff and goes and does. You got your Johnny Depp that goes and does. So we talked about these athletes based on their talent, and we said, do we give them a free pass because they're so talented, right? However, do we give a free pass for those that really do things in the community to try and make a difference? Or are we still indifferent? Are we still like, well, they're fucktard, so I'm not... Do you see what... Do both
No,
of you
I think
see
you're
what I'm
making a
saying?
great point. I agree with you. I think when you talk about other people, yes, I think there could be negative aspects to their character, and maybe they've done some wrong things, but we don't know them on a personal level.
No.
We don't know that they...
I don't
that
want
they,
to.
Yeah, fair enough. We don't know that maybe this person who did a horrible, horrible act doesn't sleep at night because of it, and their conscience is killing them, and all they want is forgiveness.
Yeah.
And they're looking to make themselves a better person.
Yeah. Like every night.
We don't know that. We don't know that. All we know is what the media is telling us, right?
Yeah.
You know, you see these fluff pieces on Marshawn Lynch giving out fucking turkeys and this
Yeah.
and that. How do you know that he's not doing that because he knows he's a piece of shit? He's like, hey, I got to make myself look better. We don't know that.
absolutely.
Wayne?
Yeah. And he goes home at night after he gives out the turkeys, and he's, you know, pulling the wings off flies and shit like that.
Right.
It's, you know,
Or running a dog fighting ring.
dog fighting ring, or whatever it is they're doing.
Like Vic?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So we've given them an outlet for this talent, this playing football, and a stage, you know. But just don't ask me to be impressed by any of these guys. I'm not all that much.
Is there...
I think that they're just human beings.
Sure.
They're just like us. There's
Thank
going to
you.
be some great
That's all I'm
guys.
trying to say.
And there's going to be some really bad
we
guys.
took this whole episode to get to Wade's point.
Yeah.
Thank you, Dad.
They're just regular people.
Yes. Yeah, they are.
And they have a particular
different walks of
skill that
life.
we wish we had. That's all that it is.
No, go ahead, Wayne, please.
I don't wish I had that.
Well, I think a lot of us.
Yeah, I
do.
absolutely freaking do. What am I
Yeah.
fucking-
Well, yeah.
Oh my God.
But who cares?
Yeah.
You know,
I
he
couldn't
goes
handle
on-
myself any better. I had a pretty decent upbringing.
I think what really
handed
kills
a couple,
me
you know,
is
What
this
what were you gonna say, Wayne?
if you handed me a couple $1 million when I was 22 years old, I'd be fucking dead at 23.
Oh, yeah.
I damn near killed myself on 13 grand a year at 18, 19 years old. I can't imagine having access to, the kind of money these guys have.
Did you guys see the 30 for 30 on that?
No.
Have you?
No, I haven't.
Oh, you both got to look it up. It's absolutely fascinating. It's how athletes lose all their fucking money, how they go broke.
Yeah.
It's unbelievably good.
I believe it.
Oh, it's fascinating. But yeah. Give a 18 to 22-year-old kid all that money with absolutely no training on how to invest properly, how to save properly. Yeah. And then you say to them, hey, the average of an NFL athlete is 3 years. So you have to now support yourself for the rest of your life off of what you make in 3 years.
And that's why that sports is permanently fucked with their collective bargaining agreements, because these guys do not have an opportunity to save any money to go through a strike.
Right.
Because their careers are so damn short. Yeah. So they don't have a war chest, so to say.
Right.
The union's not going to help them bridge the gap. And these guys have accustomed themselves to, living on, 10 grand a day.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So and they don't have anything in reserve. Baseball players, we'll sit out. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got a 25-year career. Most of those guys are still trotting out there at 40-something.
Yeah.
And they've got that money.
Unless you're Brett Favre.
Yeah.
So that's why the football CBA is never going to change. Like, they're threatening the strike, and it's all but a done deal.
Yeah.
And it always ends up on the owner's side.
Yeah.
I think somebody was talking about, they were showing like every time that the NFL's went on strike, the owners have gotten exactly what they wanted at the end when it's resolved. They haven't really had to give up anything. It's pretty much what they offered to begin with.
Yeah. That's interesting. But yeah, I kind of feel like if we're going to decide as a culture, how do we punish an athlete or how do we look upon them, I don't think that it's the role of the NFL or whatever league it is to decide what the punishment is. And these feelings I've been thinking about a lot because of Ezekiel Elliott.
Okay.
And let me just say that we don't know all the facts. The witnesses are not credible. The local police department acquitted him and said he has nothing to do with it. But the NFL has an image issue right now with violence. They do. And so the NFL has to sort of, to keep face, say, well, we're going to punish him anyways.
Yeah.
And obviously I have an issue with that, not only because I'm a Cowboys fan, but because I just think that it's ridiculous. If the police are clearing him, don't they trump the NFL? Don't you think the police trumps the NFL? I don't know.
Yeah.
So in my opinion, moving forward, I would just say that no matter what happens off the field, let's let the courts and law enforcement handle it, and not let the NFL get involved.
Yeah.
You had that fuckface on the Giants there, the kicker.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that beat the shit out of his wife repeatedly.
He admitted it.
Dan, stop. He was white.
He admitted to kicking the shit out of his wife. And what did they do? What did the NFL hand down as a punishment?
I don't know. Did they do anything to that guy?
Yeah.
One
Josh Norman.
game.
Yeah.
Oh, now the Giants made the right decision. They let him go.
Okay, and then look at Ben Rapisberger.
And that's where it should be handled, but it won't be handled.
Right.
Because, like, let's say Ezekiel Elliott's the worst human being on the planet. He's behind the scenes as a serial woman batterer, and they've been covering his ass for the last year. Okay?
Right.
Let's say that.
Okay.
Right? They found out about this one incident, blah, blah, blah. The Dallas Cowboys are not going to let this guy go, even if that is the case. Even if it's giving them bad press, blah, 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 they got to let the NFL hand it out because these owners won't police themselves.
You're right.
Because the minute...
Especially not Jerry Jones, because he's manager and owner.
Yeah. And if Josh Norman can replace a kicker on the other 31 teams in the league and can score points and win games for another team, he will have a fucking job. Right. Somebody will pick him up.
Right. So a wife beater, a known wife beater,
absolutely
could get a job. But Colin Kaepernick, who kneels during a nationalist song, who, by the way, if that song were continued to its fullest extent, you would hear a very racist phrase. Do you know the full version of the national anthem, like talks about owning slaves?
No, I never heard that.
I didn't know that either.
That's one of the first reasons why he was like, by the way, I'm not only protesting violence against black people, but the fucking national anthem, that's why he chose to do it during the national anthem.
I thought that was only the version that we sing at my socialist party meetings.
Right. No. Because it's actually a poem.
Yeah.
So the full version of the poem actually has lines about like slavery and shit.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Never heard that.
It's a fucked up.
Do you
song.
know the lines?
No, but you can Google it.
All right. Well,
Anybody can.
Oh, if Google says it's true, I got to check this out.
obviously, if it's Google, then it's true.
Is that on the interwebs?
The
Interwebs.
Yeah. Do we want to take another Brickskulls?
Yeah, I would really want to continue with this topic because I think this is a lot of great stuff. I though, just to give you a little insight, we have been drinking beer and doing shots. I
look drunk.
I have to pee. No, I'm nowhere near drunk, but I do have to urinate really badly. And I'd like to get back into this. So we're going to get back into this. We're going to let our sponsors fuck your eardrums for a little bit, and then we'll be right back. Thanks a lot, everyone. We'll be right back. If you're looking for a refinishing, a sealing, and a protection for your cement services, especially your garage, check out Eagle Epoxy at eagleepoxy.us. They can also be found on Facebook at Eagle Epoxy, or their phone number for a free quote, 585-402-4971. Tell them the Rocness Monster sent you for a free quote. Check them out.
Well, welcome back, Dan, Rocness. Thank you so much for listening to the sponsors.
Yeah.
This
Very
is
professional.
Two gay guys and a straight man.
The
You
question
figure
is
it out.
who's who.
You figure it out.
And we're happy to be back.
Yeah, we are. We are. Thank
That's
you.
the sound of a cock being sucked.
That's right. Well, it
I
came out
didn't
of
recognize that.
It came out of Dan's mouth, so it's who's doing the sucking of who?
Yeah.
So we're here today. Oh, bless you.
Thank you.
We're here today talking about athletes. We're talking about deification of athletes. We're talking about how athletes kind of are pieces of shit a lot of times, but also can give back. But you know, who knows? Should we exalt these people? Should we? I mean, you know, I don't know. It's a tough pill to swallow. Look at what's his name? The guy who swims. Swimming is not a sport. Swimming is a piece of survival. However, we give medals for this. What's his name? The one who got caught with the pot? Got all the medals?
Michael Phelps.
Phelps, yeah.
Are you saying swimming isn't a sport?
Swimming is something you do to survive.
Is running a sport?
Running is something you do to get away from the police.
Okay, I don't even know where to begin with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he also thinks masturbation
Is
is a sport.
is
Yeah.
a hobby.
Well, I'm very good at it.
Was it a hobby? What was it considered?
It's a hobby sport.
A biological function?
Wait, what was your point about Phelps? That just because he got caught with pot,
we talk about the deification of these people. We talk about Phelps with all these medals. Then he
Yeah.
gets caught with a bong in a photo.
Yeah.
And?
Oh, you mean like who gives a shit?
Yeah, like,
Imagine this. He's not perfect.
Yeah.
oh my God.
And I
He's
was
a
talking
human
to
being,
Dan
what
when
do
we
you
were
know?
at break.
Yeah, go
I
ahead.
said, I think you kind of missed my point on a lot of this stuff. My point is that this is just a microcosm of what's going on nationally and probably worldwide with the way stuff is packaged and shined up and forced on us. And that's the reason people like Donald Trump and becomes president of the United States. The political situation we're in is it's our fault. We swallow this shit wholesale and we eat it, all of it.
Yeah.
I'm guilty of it as the next guy.
You mean putting someone on a pedestal that may not deserve it?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We accept the spin. We don't dig any deeper. We don't look at these people and say, wow, I wonder if that guy thinks about, smacking that ass or whatever.
Yeah.
They have to.
I think Trump is president because most of his base believed that the economy was bad because immigrants were taking their jobs and the wall was going to keep immigrants out. And from there, everything just stemmed from there. I mean,
And it was packaged and it was trimmed up and it was shined and it was delivered.
right.
And you get enough people to believe it.
Yeah.
And this is what I'm trying to say, enough people are brainless enough to accept that at face value because that's what's told to them.
Yep.
That's why we have the president we have.
Yeah.
Yeah. An idiot.
300,000 approximately a year come across our border illegally, and
Yeah.
about 300,000 a year are deported. And in fact, Obama was essentially called deportation in chief by a lot of people.
Deporter in chief.
Yeah, because he got rid of. He was really, really tough on it. In fact,
But he can't he could never thump his chest about that.
right, because his
that would
base
take
would
the
be upset
Hispanic
about it.
vote.
Right.
And that's becoming a major political.
And also, the experts
Yeah.
say that there's a very, very, very small fraction of illegal immigrants that are actually committing violent crimes.
Yeah.
Yet,
Probably the same percentage as people that are native, unquote, quote
Far
unquote,
less.
native born.
Yeah, far less,
Yeah,
actually.
Yeah, quote unquote, exactly.
Yeah.
The native borns are the Native Americans.
I don't.
Who are Native Americans?
Yeah, I don't know. We killed all of them.
Thank you.
And so,
Thank God for that.
Yeah, you're right. It's
Right? Yeah.
It does come down to packaging. It's like this sparkly, shiny plastic box with a Star Wars
All of
character in it.
Thank you.
Don't you dare.
And this grown man can't help but buy it. You know?
Yeah, we're a super 3D dartboard.
I mean, what's
Listen.
this one down here?
What? What are you doing? Why do you do this? What is this? It's a Pez dispenser.
Folks, I'm holding in my hand
Oh my
in the
God.
packaging. Packaging isn't broken. The tape from the store is still on it.
Don't break the seal.
I broke it, though. I broke it because those are
It's
now on my desk.
Imagine the packaging is actually a Death Star. And inside of the Death Star, you can see a Stormtrooper and
Darth Vader.
Oh, but the packaging has been broken because there's two other spots
Yes, there was a Death Trooper. Can
it's
you
falling apart.
just not do? It's a tin. It was a Christmas
It's
set
a metal tin. It's a Christmas set.
for the Pez dispensers, and I love Pez dispensers. I love Pez, and I love Star Wars, and it was a gift. Dan, it was a gift. I'm not sorry about it. I'm a Star
But
Wars
it's
fan.
packaging.
I'm a
is-
Star
is
Wars
the
fan.
point. It's a nice packaging, and it looks it looks fun. I don't know what
What's
this dimple's all about.
That's supposed to be the laser cannon for the Death Star.
Oh. Anyways,
You know what? I don't really need to justify myself in my Star Wars fandom.
You do not. You're all right.
Thank
no,
you.
you're not all right.
You
got a lot of
sheep.
problems. You
You
got a lot.
fucking sheep.
Oh my god! I watched Star Wars: A New Hope episode 4 when I was a child, and it blew my mind.
Yeah.
And I just wanted everything else Star Wars. Moving on.
I think piggyback on your point, Wayne, because things are packaged so well, whether it be a Trump policy or whether it be an NFL star or just the NFL in general, I think because things are packaged so well and they look so good and there's so many elements involved, it's hard for us to make up our own opinions. It's like, oh, this is the way it is.
It's not hard, but it takes energy.
Right. It takes energy people don't want to
It takes
spend.
energy because they'll dissent. Exactly.
Right. You got to have some sort of skepticism, and not a lot of people have that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's funny that you bring up his Star Wars fetish.
Yeah. It is
Because
a fetish.
that's what I blame is Star Wars.
Oh, interesting.
And I think what people saw is that, we take an average movie and we'll go
Yeah, no, I agree.
we'll go ahead and we'll market the living piss out of
My
this.
blood is
and we will force sequel upon sequel down your throat.
Yeah.
Each successively worse than the previous one. And people will still go see this shit. As long as we market it with little plastic figures.
He's making eye contact with me right now as he says this.
We will sell this movie.
lot
I
of
love to
intense
make eye
eye
contact
contact.
when I fuck somebody. I really do.
I know.
Oh, my God.
He's like, you will look at me.
It's a real power play here,
He's
folks.
not even using lube right now, and it hurts. Wow. It hurts me.
Good point. Good point.
I blame it's all Star Wars' fault. Ray Rice would not have smashed his girlfriend in the face and dragged her around by her hair.
Fiance. I always say that because it's like, how awkward was the wedding?
Yeah, they ended up getting married after, didn't they?
They did. She chose to stuck by him. Ka-ching,
Can you imagine those vows?
Yeah.
I promise that I will be faithful. I will not punch you in the face again.
In an elevator where there's a
I
camera.
will never drag you by your hair.
Because the next time they had to take an elevator together anywhere, it was really weird.
Yeah, I just
Awkward as shit. Can you imagine?
I'm going
my
to take
God.
this one. You're going to take the next one.
Right. Honey, do you think we should take the escalator instead?
What but even more fucked up is if you find out later on that she was into that shit.
Yeah.
And she asked him to do that.
Hit me. Hit me.
Now, people say, now what girl would want to be dragged around by her hair?
Yeah.
I met some freaky girls since I've been single, and there's some weird shit going on out there. So it's not out of,
No, you're right.
Nipple clamps and...
Whoopi Goldberg made a sort of a controversial point about that. Did you hear what she said?
No, what did Whoopi say?
She was like, "Look, I don't condone anyone hitting a woman. That's not what I'm trying to say. What she was trying to say is, as a woman, you need to understand that you can't go and hit a man and not think you're going to get hit back. Like, she's not condoning the retaliation. She's just saying, use your head. This is a very physical man who
he hits for a
who
living.
gets paid to hit for a living. And even still, she goes, even if it wasn't a football player, like, you don't go and hit anybody. You don't hit anyone and not expect to get hit back.
You've always got to be expecting some sort of response.
Exactly.
It doesn't mean it's going to be equal and measured.
Right.
There's going to be a consequence for that type of action.
You're in a closed
Every
space.
action has an equal and opposite reaction.
They were in a closed space with nowhere for him to go.
Yeah.
And she was hitting him.
Yeah. Smacking around.
I mean, look, it's not okay that Ray Rice did that.
Or she'll get, the girls who like to get an inch from your face and scream at you. And, and your blood's boiling. And you know that I can't lay a finger on her.
Right.
And Sam Kinison actually said a very similar thing. He said, wife beating. He's like, I don't condone it. But I'll tell you what, I fucking understand it.
Yeah.
I can see why somebody would hit a woman, why they would hit a wife, a girlfriend, something like that.
Yeah, Bill Burr also does a bit about it.
Yeah, I mean, and I think it goes. I mean, even us, the three of us in here, I don't agree with, nor do any of us condone smacking a woman. But Jesus Christ, sometimes you're just like, I get it. I fucking.
Well, they want equality.
Yeah.
If I were to get inches from Dan's face and scream at him at the top of my lungs and wave my finger in his
I'd
face,
be white-knuckled for sure.
Chances are I would expect Dan to retaliate and possibly strike me.
Exactly. Well, you want the same pay.
He might use his purse.
Yeah. It's
He
a
has
satchel.
a nice purse.
He's got a satchel.
Indiana Jones had a satchel. But you're not
That's such
Indiana
an
Jones.
overused quote
You're not
right
an
now.
Indiana Jones.
No.
No, you're not. Far from it.
Being
What do we
athletes.
think about Ben Roethlisberger?
I don't know the story
Oh my
behind
God.
that.
I don't think anybody does.
Wayne, anything?
Who knows? I don't know. It's like I don't read too much into all this stuff. I don't, read the biographies. I look for the high points of these stories, and then I kind of move on.
Yeah.
Most news these days just doesn't even matter to me anymore. It's like over the past 10, 12 months,
Yeah.
I used to consider myself very well informed, but lately I find myself reading a couple of lines of a news story and feeling less informed than when I began.
Yeah. Or
And
misinformed.
The least it can
misled.
do is pique my knowledge a little bit, and I'll go and I'll search for something outside of the news story on a subject to look at it. But a lot of these things, they just don't even matter anymore. It's so glossed up. You don't know what's the truth and what's being spun.
Yeah, that's the truth.
And there's so many ways to disseminate it.
We should start our own news feed here.
Absolutely.
At the beginning of the show. We'll just
With
do
Wayne on sports.
Yeah. We'll do a news about the, like
I'll
what's
do
going
news
on.
for you. I'll do lots of news.
Will you?
Yeah, I got news.
What's your top news story?
Top news story. Did you know that there are huge diamonds raining from the sky on Uranus?
What?
Is that true?
Right on Uranus.
Wow.
Oh.
I believe it.
Yeah. Large diamonds have been found on Uranus.
Wow.
Is Uranus easily attainable?
Absolutely.
How hard is it to get into Uranus?
Well, you've got to move a lot of diamonds to get to Uranus.
Oh, okay.
We have gone very lowbrow. Right?
What are you talking about? This is like space talk, man.
Space stuff? Oh, yeah. This is about astronomy, not astrology.
Well, and technically some geology, too.
Well, diamonds.
Yeah, diamonds.
Diamonds, absolutely.
They are a girl's best friend,
They are.
especially if they're on Uranus.
Absolutely. So, okay. We're going to come back.
Yeah.
When
we're
we-
gonna do some fuck you.
When we come back, we're gonna let Wayne wrap up. We're gonna give Wayne a final thought on
have none.
okay on athletes, athleticism,
Athlete.
and anal beads, anal diamonds, and then we're gonna get our fuck yous, and then I think we're gonna call it a show. Thanks a lot, everyone. Just take a listen to our sponsors and go fuck yourself. Appreciate your time. Critical Mass can now be found at the 8o'clockstop.com. That's the 8o'clockstop.com. We're there with the Hypothetically Speaking podcast as well as 3 Dicks Picks podcast. Check us out there. That's the 8o'clockstop.com because everything starts at 8 o'clock. And thank you so much for listening to our sponsors.
Sticking around.
If you could contact our sponsors and ask them to actually pay us, that'd be great.
Yeah, we're waiting for some checks in the mail.
Waiting for checks. We've received no. We're just kidding. The reason we have these sponsors is because they're new fledgling businesses, and we would like them to be successful. Just like we want our success as well. We'd like everyone to be successful. So we're going to go ahead. We're going to tie off the end of this topic, and we're going to get in our fuck yous. So I'm going to defer to our guest, Wayne. Wayne, you came in today. We were here to talk about sports athletes, the bullshit surrounding them, the deification of them, the people that obsess over these fucking people. And, you know, just if you could conclude your thought of these athletes and NFL stars, how would you bring that to a close? The floor is completely yours.
I would just like to see people stop putting anybody up on a pedestal without knowing more about them. You know, and if you don't know the person, then don't idolize them.
Yeah.
Learn more about people, learn more about subjects, learn more about, you know, what's going on in the world from your own little version of it.
And also don't try and defame them either.
Yeah.
I mean, if you don't know the person, you don't know them.
Let them go. They can do whatever they want to do.
Agreed.
Okay. Makes sense to me. Dan, what do you think?
That's exactly. I think we're on the same page on that. You don't know the person intimately. You may hear bad news about him. You may hear good news about him. You don't know. You don't know that Marshawn Lynch isn't doing the whole turkey thing to his neighborhood because he just wants to appear like the good guy.
Or he genuinely wants them.
He could genuinely want to help his community. Was it a coincidence that cameras were there when he gave that kid his shoes? I don't know.
There was no camera there. It was
Was it a coincidence that reporters were there? I don't know.
I mean, yeah, that's that.
You know what I
yeah,
mean?
That I'll give you.
You know what I mean? You know, you watch a reality television show. You know, are these people acting that way because that's how they are,
Yeah.
or because cameras are on them? You don't know.
Very true. Cameras change a people. I know it changes me when
Yes.
there's a camera on me, which is very rare.
The limelight has changed us both.
It has changed us both. Yes, we're so famous now.
Yeah.
We're like
All right.
Rochester celebrities, but not really.
Yeah. So I guess that kind of sounds.
It's very warm in here, and I'm starting to get nauseous.
So
Yeah, you wanna.
Wayne,
you just
Can
wanna
we
get the
move
fuck
this
outta here.
along, please?
we're
Thank you.
going to move this along. So we're gonna get into our
Thank
fuck
you.
yous. Dan, do you want to go?
Yeah, I got one in the
first for your
chamber. I'd
fuck
like
you?
to shoot it off.
Please go ahead.
Fuck you to the douchebag guy or girl who at the bar decides to take over the jukebox with country music. Go fuck yourself. Go find a different bar, or play your little shitty music in your car or on your headphones. No one else wants to hear it. You're garbage. So is your music. And
Jesus Christ.
no, it is. We're not talking about like old country, like Western. Okay, like respectable, talented musicians.
Willie Nelson?
We're talking about Luke Bryan and shit like that. Okay, it doesn't
Luke
count.
Bryan's just awesome. Just incredible.
No, he's
What
he's not.
What
He's
an
not.
artist. He's an artist.
He's an artist.
I know I know what you're doing there, and I don't like it.
You're doing it. I don't like.
And so fuck you, and stop it immediately. And if I find you at one of these bars playing this country music, I am making a vow right now that I will purposely play or pay a full $1 to interrupt your song.
And he will. I've actually seen it.
$1.
Yeah,
He will pay the dollar.
that's top dollar.
I love a man that's committed to his cause.
Just because of disrupting other people's causes.
I pledge $1 to stopping this heinous crime.
No matter how many times it happens.
$1.
One single dollar.
Anybody else?
Yeah, I got my fuck you.
Okay.
My fuck you. And obviously we know I'm a huge Star Wars fan. I'm a gigantic, and I think Dan, you're gonna vibe with this fuck you. My fuck
Okay.
you is the clickbait when it comes to all these. Because so when the Star Wars movies the Star Wars movies come out, and there's all this speculation as to this and that and the other thing. And one of the big things that's coming out is the Han Solo movie, the standalone Han Solo film that is now being directed by one Ron Howard, which makes me very happy. Now,
Okay.
I'm looking at an ad, and the ad says they're speculating the release of the title of the Han Solo film. So I'm like, oh shit, let me fucking click on this. Let me read.
Yeah.
What is this Han Solo movie? What's it going to be titled?
Right. But
Oh my god.
yeah, I'm already with you on. I know where you're going.
So
with this.
I click on it, right? And it says the Han Solo movie will be titled Han Solo, a Star Wars story.
Oh, okay.
Like, yeah.
I thought you were gonna say you click on the clickbait, which poses the question, and then the answer like the article doesn't even have the answer.
No, it has the answer, but it's just the answer is so obvious. Like, it's just like Han Solo, a Star Wars story. No shit.
Yeah.
How is that news? How do I have... You know what the biggest news from the Han Solo story? Woody Harrelson is in it, and he plays the mentor to Han Solo. But there's not a lot of information.
Yeah.
Maybe I want to hear more about that.
This is starting to sound like a Star Wars podcast.
Yeah, I just can't wait for that one to come out.
Well, I think it's going to be pretty great.
Probably going to be a lot of really interesting things in that movie.
You know what? I don't need this shit. The fact of the matter is, I'm so sick and tired. Oh my god!
Does anyone ever get better at shooting those lasers? They're terrible shots.
The only terrible shots are the stormtroopers, but
I bet you at the end of that movie, they're going to blow up a Death Star.
oh boy,
There will be some secret flaw.
Yeah.
we just went there.
Han
Some
Solo.
impossibly difficult shot.
Listen,
And
Han
then there will be a backstory movie afterwards.
Right.
It was a prequel, but it'll be a sequel.
Right.
I'm just
Where
hoping.
they actually got the plans to Han
Right.
and his merry band
Oh my god!
of spice smugglers.
Listen, Han. Well, spice in Star Wars, spice is a drug.
Jesus Christ, shut the fuck up, would
And,
you?
and
I know.
technicality, Han was a drug dealer. So I'm really hoping that they get into that. But
oy,
to
oy, oy, oy.
tell me to click here. Click here for the fucking title for the Han Solo film, the untitled Han Solo film.
I gotta fuck
And
you. How
click
about
on
Star
it.
Wars fans?
You know what? I don't need your shit right now.
I love you, man.
Can I do my fuck
Let's
you
just
now?
go on.
All right, you know what? Let's go ahead and move on. Wayne, give us our fuck you and fuck. You know what? Fuck Dan. Dan is my fuck you. I'm
know
gonna
what?
fuck Dan in his ass when we're done with this.
My fuck you goes out to Han Solo.
Oh yeah.
Fuck you, Han Solo.
Oh my god.
You goddamn wife-beating, criminal, smuggling piece of shit.
Yeah.
But
you.
he gave away turkeys on Corellia, his home planet, for
During Thanksgiving.
during Thanksgiving.
He's a good guy.
No, really, what's your fuck you? Go ahead.
Han Solo.
Wow.
That's your fuck you.
Well, I mean, you know my list is long.
Go ahead, give us something.
Somebody else?
Yeah.
No, it doesn't have to be a
You know
somebody.
what?
It could
How
be a
about-
something.
How about fuck the hype? All of it.
Okay, what hype?
Fuck marketing. Fuck
Anyway.
Rockness. Fuck Han Solo.
Fuck. Oh yeah. Okay.
I feel bad for you, Rockness, that you are tricked often into clicking on these
Got a feeble
ads.
mind.
And these things are distributed to your eyes and your ears, and you have to look at them.
You have to spend what 2 seconds looking.
You're forced to look at clickbait, and
Yeah.
I think it's a crime.
I think we should start a charity.
I
fund.
do. Really?
You guys are fucking assholes.
Go fund me.
Yeah. A GoFundMe for Rockness.
Help Rockness's
Clickbait.
clickbait
problems.
addiction.
Oh my god. If it says Star Wars, I'm interested. What do you want from me?
You know what? You should get a clickbait assistant.
Clickbait assistant that can just summarize what it is and tell me later. That sounds good.
Nah,
Are
you know,
you
we pick
interested?
on you
I'm
because it's
hiring.
easy.
Fuck you.
No, I'm just saying we pick on you because it's easy.
It's
too.
not. It's not easy.
It's such an easy target, the Star Wars. thing.
Okay. So Star Wars is not a movie. It's a way of life. It's a lifestyle
Okay, that's
choice.
that
that's
sentence
so
right
fucked
there
up.
makes us want to make fun of you.
I swear to God, it makes me want to punch him in the fucking
Yeah.
face. To be honest with you,
There
like
are-
get violent with him.
It's not a way of life.
My-
It's a pretend movie.
My brother would tell you the same thing. Star Wars is not a movie. It is a lifestyle choice.
So his
No,
brother
it's not.
legitimizes everything.
Yeah.
Well, have you met him?
No, I have not met him, but the fact that he lived with you in the same house for all those years does not make a legitimate argument. It
he is
doesn't mean
an-
that he legitimizes your argument.
He is a learned lawyer
Learned lawyer. Yes.
Oh, okay.
and a smart one.
Any smart person can convince themselves of their own truth.
I don't like either of you.
I know.
hate
Well,
you.
thanks for listening.
hate
It's
you
been a
both.
great season, everybody.
It's been season 2 has been fantastic. We've gotten a lot of
Lots has done changed around here. Got a
Yeah.
desk. I got a chair. I got a restraining order. Everything's been just going swimmingly.
we've had
I have some restraints.
some restraints. Honestly, I've had a lot of fun this season. I feel like really we've grown. Dan, do you agree?
Yeah, we've grown though. I think the podcast has gotten better. We're building a website.
We're almost at 100 listeners.
We're almost at 100 people that care.
We're at 98.
And once we get on iTunes, look out, guys. The rags to riches story.
Careful, bag is going to fall.
Shall be us.
So, yeah, I mean, really, we have a lot more people that are listening to us, which thank you.
Yeah.
Anyone who gives us
just
an
a big
episode.
thanks to everybody.
Yeah, we really appreciate you. We really appreciate listening to the show. We're open to your comments, your questions, your concerns, your arguments. We'd like you to, continue. We're not the Catholic Church. We don't want your money. We just...
Well, I mean, we're not going to turn it away.
We're not going to turn it away.
But we're not going to ask for it.
Exactly. We're working on a website. We're working on getting on iTunes. And Season 3, the premiere of Season 3, there is going to be a large surprise, a big change coming to Critical Mass.
Big news, folks, there.
But we're going to have you wait until Season 3, the premiere.
Cliffhanger, if you will.
To figure out what the fuck it is we're even talking about.
Yeah.
But we're really excited about it. We think it's going to bring a new dimension to our show. We think that it's going to show our continued
It's going to bring
growth.
a lot of female listeners, that's for sure.
It may bring a lot of female listeners. But yeah, there's probably a good chance a lot of female listeners.
Yeah.
And we're excited about it. I don't know what else to say. On top of that, I want to thank our sponsors that have stuck.
They stuck in with us. They did. They
stuck
in with us.
They stuck in with us.
They have.
We got Eagle Epoxy. If you need your cement floors redone, you should probably contact them. Paul's a great guy. The Genesee Beard Company.
Yes.
Dave, we had him on our season premiere.
Yep.
For season 2. Beard oil.
Beard oils, beard wax, beard shampoos,
Beard-
combs,
whatever-
scissors, T-shirts.
If you want a beard T-shirt,
Yeah.
you should probably check them out.
Now, it's not made out of beard. It's made out of cotton. I
Not
think.
anymore. It was made of beard.
But
and he
there will
switched
be
to
some
cotton.
sort of beard imagery on it.
Exactly. And then the 8o'clockstop.com
Yes.
that have been featuring us since the beginning.
Since the beginning.
I want to thank them.
The big thanks really goes to them. To
You
be
got
honest.
exactly. You got the Hypothetically Speaking podcast on that show, on that website, which I think is fucking hysterical.
Right.
And then you got your 3 Dicks picks. Check them out. On top of that, Greg Rude on percussion. And
Yes.
his videos there. If you like someone
you like
taking a
drumming.
wooden stick and hitting a tightened piece of...
We should tell Bill Burr about that. He'd probably like it, and then
He'd-
we'd get famous because of that. So.
I mean, yeah, sure. But I want to
Drums
thank...
are awesome.
Drums are awesome. They take a lot of anger
Drum
out.
and bass.
So thanks for that. Thanks to everyone that listens. The only way we get better is your likes, your comments, and your shares. So go ahead, right to the bottom right. There is a share button. You're going to go ahead and you're going to click on
Just
that.
share it. Just like it. Even if you don't, just do it. Just help a brother out.
I'd like
will
to
ya?
share with you, Rocness, that there's going to be a new Star Wars movie coming out.
I didn't know.
Oh, wow.
I had no
Do they know
idea.
the title?
I just clicked on this ad. It showed me.
Oh, cool.
All right. Well, Dan, you have any final thoughts?
Yeah, I think we droned on about it enough.
Okay,
Thanks,
so
everybody.
You're good. Wayne, any final thoughts?
None whatsoever.
All right, cool. Well, hey, thanks a lot, everyone. It's been an awesome season, and we really look forward to seeing you guys on season 3. We're going to be taking about a 3 to 4 week hiatus, and then we're going to be back. So stay tuned, and thanks a lot. And in the meantime, go out, do your American duty, and punch a Nazi right in the face. We love you.